Hello and welcome to the cryptocurrency news channel. We're here to talk about VEX. It's not launched yet, and you can't trust anyone telling you otherwise because they're trying to scam you, so don't trust any of those people. I'll link this Medium article in the first pinned comment on this video. Contract addresses will be announced on this Medium publication and over Twitter. Make sure it's the official Vechain Twitter, not some wannabe poser account that's trying to scam you. So Vexchange's governance token VEX. Vexchange has existed for a while, but I think they were waiting for basically the POA 2.0 to be a little bit closer before they actually announce VEX. So this actually might be a pretty good buy if you believe that people are going to use Vechain for DeFi and people are going to use the Vechain ecosystem. This article is to give you a 1 week's notice for the launch of VEX on vexchange.io, as well as the yet to be released yield farming front end and program. So Vechain is going to have yield farming and a program. So VEX is launching in 1 week on November 9th at 1300 UTC, which is Universal Time. I think Universal Time is roughly like 8 hours ahead of Central Standard Time. Not exactly sure, you might want to check on that. VEX, VET yield farming launch at the same time. So this actually might be big for VET as well. Governance module launching in the next 30 days. So since the beginning, Vexchange has been a community-oriented and grassroots project. I don't think it's affiliated with the Vechain Foundations directly. The original Vexchange version 1 launched in 2019 with great community feedback. There have been minor subsequent improvements like vetho.exchange to auto-swap site, some UI work, and many bug fixes over the years. The launch of V2 was, however, the first major upgrade since Vexchange started. We aim to keep V1's variable swapping and min fees, but also thought to future-proof and modernize the protocol. The launch of V2 represented the first step towards community ownership and decentralization. The introduction of VEX will be next, with a fast-following governance module being the final step. The VEX token will initially be distributed to community members in 2 ways. There's a retroactive airdrop for users who have traded and provided liquidity to Vexchange 2.1, and there's a VEX VET yield farming program, which I might actually take advantage of. The first 30 days will be run by the Vexchange team, but after that, governance will control rates and pairs. The snapshot block is 9 million. Their participation allocation is 320 VEX per address. LP liquidity pool allocation 2 million VEX. And swap allocation 1 million VEX. So token allocation, there will be 100 million VEX tokens, so not as many as Vechain. 50 million DAO treasury, 20 million founders, 2-year vesting. The DAO treasury is also 3-month cliff, 2-year vesting. 20 million futures team members, 2 years vesting. 5 million retroactive airdrop, no vesting. And 5 million yield farming, no vesting. So the retroactive airdrop won't have a vesting. They'll be able to sell it right away once they get it, I believe. The 50 million treasury, obviously, they're just going to use that to promote VEX. And they're probably just going to use that to provide probably more liquidity than what the yield farming stuff is. The idea behind the token allocation is to get the majority of the initial tokens in the community members' hands and let them circulate in preparation for the governance module. So I think the DAO treasury will be kind of doing that as well, sort of. The vested future team and founders token align with a 2-year runaway for further developing Vexchange. So the 2-year vesting is essentially making sure they don't dump right away, obviously, and so they can actually spend it over the next 2 years for developing the exchange. It's expected that during this time, major dev work will still be spearheaded by the team and founders. However, the bulk allocation towards community governments represents a treasury for the community to use to create a self-sustaining and decentralized Vexchange for years to come. So the 50 million treasury is basically for community members. So it's trying to be community driven. So this is actually really, really cool. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I might buy some. I might take advantage of the yield farming. But basically, this might mean big things, not only for VEX, that coin might go up a lot depending on how the ecosystem develops, but Vechain itself, because when you actually have yield farming on a platform, that platform tends to go up because people tend to stake more of it, they tend to vest more of it, they tend to hold on for longer periods of time. Plus the FOMO itself from the yield farming, sometimes generates a pump. So you might be looking at a Vechain moving up in the next, couple of weeks. I definitely hope so. Vechain hasn't moved for quite a while. I mean, it's kind of stayed in the same position. It's still number 18 if you take out the three or four stablecoin. So it really hasn't dropped in terms of ranking, but it really hasn't gone up in terms of the ranking in the last couple of months. It's kind of like stayed around number 20. Hasn't done too bad. Like, because it's stayed around the same ranking, it's done average in comparison to the rest of the market as well in terms of altcoins. But this definitely might give it a boost. Vechain's been lacking that one thing. Maybe yield farming is it, and maybe people will start investing in Vechain more. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.